Well, good evening, YouTube Nation. I am Average Will, and welcome back to another edition of Saturday Sit Down. I just completely pulled a noob moment where I thought I hit start broadcast, and I didn't, and I went through the whole playthrough, and I went through like the first minute of my spiel, and then I looked down and I said, oh, I'm not even live yet. So, how are you guys doing? Like I said, I am Average Will. This is Saturday Sit Down episode 2, where I bring on a guest and we have a chit chat, and I will make sure this week I will pay attention to chat a little bit more. I know I kind of wasn't paying as much attention to you guys in chat, and if you guys have anything you want to throw into the conversation, we will definitely include you, because that's why we're doing this. I'm doing this to have, one, to get to know our guest a little bit better, and and get to know them as a collector and outside of collecting, and then 2, also to interact with you guys a little bit more. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing good on this Saturday. It's been rainy and dreary here in Florida. I know, we've, still been in the warmer weather, which is nice. But man, I still can't believe I did that. I'm all off track on my thoughts because I started my spiel and I was like, oh crap, I didn't hit go live. I want to first say hello. How's it going? Ruben coming in early. Cowabunga fam, how's it going? Bearded Avengers Assemble. Lacrucis, how you doing? You're waiting. We got Oregon Weem. How's it going? Adrian laughing, how you doing? Hello from Mexico. Hello, how you doing, Super Jess? Hope you're doing well. And so today's guest is going to be Slotitup, a 503. Who has a great channel, and I believe when I was last looking, and I'm going to pull it up, I meant to have it up here, and it tells you how organized I am here. He just released a video about his 500 sub giveaway. If I could spell too, fat fingers, folks, they are deadly on here. Slot it up. Again, so well prepared for all this. All right, so he's at 396. So he announced yesterday that he was coming out with he did a 500 sub giveaway announcement thing, which is cool. So what we're going to do is, if you are not subbed to him and you're watching this, go ahead and check out his channel. If you guys like it, go ahead and hit that sub button. Give him some love and everything. And let's see if we can get him today. He's only 4 away from 400. See if we can get him to 400 tonight. And that way he can be a little bit further on his pursuit of 500. Plus, if you guys don't know, I'm going to bring him on here in a second so he can also talk about his show that's premiering tomorrow night. So let's welcome in Slotted Up Jason. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going, everybody? Thank you. Thanks for having me, Will.
So the show tomorrow is rigged. It's with you and Taylor, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, sweet. And you got 2 cool guests to start it off. You've got, Adrian, the man of 1,000 voices, and then Gary, who I don't know, he's like the pre-screen champion. He sends in so many pre-screens and comes out pretty damn well on his pre-screens.
He's always getting back like 25 of them.
Yeah, I mean he's got pretty good luck with it. So let me ask, what is the what kind? Can you give us a little hint on what kind of show we're going to be looking at?
Well, if you could imagine, if you will, a very, very low budget Jeopardy, but with comic books. It'll basically be 10 multi-choice questions for each contestant with a rigged question in there. And whoever gets the most right, answers out of the 10 wins.
Nice. Sounds like it's going to be a fun time. And what time is that tomorrow? What time does it premiere?
That will be at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So that'd be 7:30 Eastern.
Yeah, 7:30 for us over here on the East Coast. All right, cool.
6:30 your time, Adrian.
So if you saw last week, it kind of just it's laid back. Just we have a nice little conversation. And one of the things we met through, like, whenever we were doing some of the auctions on here. You and Super Jess were very active in our chats and everything, and then you started your channel. What made you finally decide to make a channel here on YouTube?
Really, it was, it was, my kids watch so much YouTube, and they all, that's something my kids all want to do is make a YouTube channel. And like Jimmy and with his kids, I just wanted to do it to, try to be that cool dad, because when your kids get to that age, they don't really want anything to do with you. So you kind of got to reach for things that they're interested in. So that's kind of what got me into it.
That's cool. That's really cool. I know that's one thing. I mean, my kids don't. I mean, like my daughter makes fun of me, that I do YouTube sometimes. But then now I kind of like sunk her into comics now. So I'm like, haha. So who's really to make fun of here? So how's it going, Lumberjack Pops? Now, aside, I mean, I saw you have a nice little setup behind you when you do your recordings. Aside from comics, you have Funko Pops. Is there anything else that you collect?
I like action figures too. Like I've really started like I had the He-Man set, the Masters of the Universe, the old retro set when they came out.
Nice.
I like a lot of these NECA figures. It gets dangerous with collecting because once you start down that rabbit hole, you find something you like and you start buying more, and then you don't have nowhere to put it. So.
Right.
But the NECA figures, the Pops is something I said I would never collect, and now I've well over 100 of them. So,
yeah, I know that feeling. With the NECAs, do you have? Because I've seen them at Target when I've gone to Target, where I've seen like the different ones, like Predator. I think there's a Gremlins one, like Freddy Krueger, Jason. What NECAs do you collect?
I like the horror movie ones, like the Predator, the Rowdy Piper one from. We Live or They Live.
Cool. That's cool.
The the Terminator, the Jason Voorhees, the Michael Myers. Michael Myers Halloween was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. So they have so many different ones from all the different movies. They're awesome, really. And there's just so much detail. I mean, I know it's not the Sideshow collectibles or the hot toys like DJ Lynx, but they're affordable and they're easier to locate, and put in your house.
Yeah, those hot toys are high priced, and even like statues, because I've looked into getting a couple statues, and I'm just like, man, I look at it price wise. I'm like, for $100 statue, I could get all this. So it's like, and plus statues take up so much more space. It's crazy.
That too, and like Jesse was saying down there in chat, Garbage Pail Kids, trading cards. Like Old Man Collectibles has got me on this little kick now. I've bought these Star Wars cards, these new Holocron cards. I've gotten multiple sets of the Garbage Pail Kids, the new 35 anniversary ones. Mandalorian cards. So cards again as well.
Yeah, what's crazy with like the Garbage Pail Kids, I remember when I watched the Garbage Pail Kids movie, which was from the 80s or early 90s. That movie was so ridiculous. But I loved it. That's like one of those movies. Like I love B, C, D horror movies, or like the gimmicky movies like that. Like, obviously Gremlins and Critters were two of my favorites growing up.
Tremors.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. Now they have like 6, 7 movies of the Tremors where they have.
And I've seen every one of them. I love them all.
The variations of them, like they have the ass blasters and the other ones, where it's all the different thing. What's going on, DJ Lynx? Thank you for coming by, man. Stay away. Yeah, Adrian, I have not watched your video yet of you opening up all of those Pokemon cards.
I've been tempted, but I've had help from my significant other and the better half, Super Jessie. She's kept me from that temptation of the Pokemon cards. I'm like, I've seen other people. Oh, nope, don't get them. Don't get started. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, I can't have him here because Johnny it don't matter. He has a nose for him. I could try to hide him up in my closet. He will snuff them out. So I was like, no, well, if I get them, they're his and they're not going to be collectible. He'll play with them, and he tries to do he makes his own little battles and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And then he tries to get us to play with him. And I'm like, I don't know how to play Pokemon was big whenever I was in middle school, but I never liked it then, and I never wanted to get into it. And he's like, no way. And it's crazy now with like Logan Paul buying, like spending all that money on it and stuff like that. It's insane.
Yeah, even like they're in cereal boxes now. They were at McDonald's. Like I even got crazy with the McDonald's ones, and then like you were saying, having them around your kids, it's dangerous. I had them up here, and I planned on selling them, keeping them, because they were going to be big.
Yeah.
Then I ended up giving them, here's a few packs of this kid, and here's a few packs of this kid. Next thing you know, I'm sending a few to some people for AOKs, and I don't have any more.
Yeah, right. So growing up, what was what stuff did you? Well, I should say this. Did you collect growing up? Obviously.
Yeah, it was always toys at first. Like my neighbor was that kid that had every GI Joe. When you went to his bedroom, he had like the wires with all the airplanes, the GI Joe helicopters hanging. His room was decked out, so I was spoiled to go over there and get to play with all the toys. But when I went home, I didn't have them all. But it was always GI Joes because of the cartoons.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was really the first toy that I got for Christmas one year, where my parents got me the whole set when they came out in the 80s.
Oh, cool.
And that really got me into comics. Because my friend goes, dude, have you read the comic book? And I'm like, no. All I've seen is the cartoon and the toys. So, yeah, that really ultimately led me into comic collecting.
All right. So now with the Ninja Turtles, what turtle's your favorite?
My favorite turtle's always going to be Raphael.
Okay.
He's the one with the attitude. That's the one I always liked as a kid. Michelangelo was always my second. But, yeah. With the last Ronin right now, I won't do any spoilers or anything, but it's a sad day for the Turtles.
Yeah, it's definitely Mikey was my favorite turtle growing up. I always watching the movies and then watching the cartoons. He was always the one I loved, just because the carefreeness, the goofiness of him, and just not where you had like Raphael was so serious and like wanting to just fight, and then Leo being the leader and kind of trying to be everybody's second dad. After Splinter, Mikey was one that I always just gravitated to. So
they're all awesome.
Yeah, of the three movies, which one rank the three movies from best to worst of the three movies?
It has to be. I mean, number 2 is my favorite, hands down. The Secret of the Ooze. Yeah. I love that movie. And then the first one would probably be number 2. Then the third one, the time traveling one, where they're samurais and stuff, that'd probably be the third one. But Secret of the Ooze, Super Shredder and the ninja rap, scene, and it was just so classic, and that brings back more memories than any of the other three for sure.
Yeah. So I'm hoping they do something here in the future where they kind of bring it back and kind of give us something movie-wise that's not Michael Bay when it comes to the Turtles. And
giant turtles.
Yeah, well, and then where he was wanting to change the origins to then make them alien versus making them mutants and everything like that, where he was changing all that up and everything. I'm like, come on, Michael Bay. So
yeah, in the original movies, they're just a little bit bigger than April O'Neil, and then in the Michael Bay movies, they're just a little bit bigger than a car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so what the comics? You're a Batman guy, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so I've got to ask all the Batman fans when I talk to them, what are your hopes and worries for Robert Pattinson playing the new Batman?
Well, obviously, I mean, anytime you have a guy coming from the role of Edward in Twilight to the role of Bruce Wayne as Batman, it's a little worrisome. But honestly, Batman is a little, I hate to say this because I'm such a fan of Batman. He's a little emo. He's a little, dark. And I think Pattinson can play that role pretty decently. Will he be Michael Keaton? Absolutely not. But I believe that he'll do a far superior job than Batfleck.
Yeah, the one thing I think Ben Affleck is a good Bruce Wayne, but as a Batman, it didn't work for me. But I would say as a Bruce Wayne, yes, sure. So I'm hoping that Robert Pattinson can surprise me like Heath Ledger surprised me as the Joker. You know, because
Yes.
that was really when I heard they cast him as Joker, I was just like, oh, here we go. I'm like, great. And then
You and me both.
watching the movie, I was in the movie theater. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, that's Heath Ledger. I'm like, no freaking way. I'm like, oh, it was awesome. It was definitely great to see that. So it'll be
He exceeded my expectations by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully he can. Hopefully Robert Pattinson can be more that way. You know, as the new Batman, kind of surprise people that are fans of. So is DC like your main go-to when it comes to reading comics, or do you kind of like, are you all over the place?
Honestly, DC lately has not been my favorite. I've really gravitated towards the indies, the independent titles like Something is Killing the Children, Department of Truth, Firepower. I mean, there has been some really, really great independent titles out there. I mean, DC, like the new Swamp Thing was really good. I really enjoyed that. Marvel titles, I read King of Black because everyone said it was. Actually, I read it because DJ Lang said it was the greatest book of last year. So I decided I would read it, and it was all right. I liked it. But as far as Marvel, I've read the one I'm really enjoying most is MODOK. But I like Patton Oswalt, and his writing is awesome, I think.
Yeah,
but independent titles have been my go-to.
That's cool. That's good. And that, I think MODOK is supposed to have a cartoon that's created by Patton Oswalt.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to.
I'll animated. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. So with Batman, who is your favorite villain that Batman has to face off against?
I mean, it's always gonna be the Joker, man. I mean, the Joker is always. I like the Joker. There's a lot of people that don't get enough credit in the Bat universe. A lot of villains because the Joker is so big time. He's, the iconic villain that you think of when you think of Batman. Harley Quinn is great. Killer Croc is great. Killer Croc is one that I think doesn't get enough love as far as Batman villains.
Yeah.
What's up, Freaky Louie? Shaq?
How's it going, Freaky Louie? Is that what it is? Freaky Louie, not Louie?
Louie.
Louie? Okay. Cool. I like that name.
I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just call him the YouTube Yankovic.
How's it going, Biggie? How's it going, What the Deuce? Thank you guys for coming by. All right, so since I asked you about your with Batman and whatnot, who's your favorite Joker? I should ask that. Who's your favorite Joker?
As great as Heath Ledger was, I'm a Jack Nicholson fan.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, the iconic scene where he's like hanging for the ledge, and just Michael Keaton looming over him right there, or the scene where he's, dancing down the street, Jack Nicholson is Joker to me because as my childhood, just like Michael Keaton is Batman, that's really what I grew up watching as the first real live action Batman movie that blew my mind. So then it'd probably be Heath Ledger.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. So now, what are your thoughts of them bringing Michael Keaton back and having him play Batman in? Is he actually gonna? Have they confirmed that he'll be in the new Batman?
I don't want to say for sure, but I think so. And if they bring him back, I mean, he's supposed to play old Bruce Wayne, and what better guy to bring back? And I mean, look how good he did in the Spider-Man movie as the Vulture.
Right.
I mean, I love Michael Keaton as well. He's another one of those actors that I think can really do no wrong. I mean, there's probably some movies out there. DJ Lynx will probably bring him up. He ruined, Ron Perlman for me. I'm sure he'll do it with, my other favorites. So.
Yeah. So Adrian said, yes, it's confirmed. Okay. That's good to know. Well, it's like, I like Michael Keaton as an actor. I think he's a really good actor. So it'd be cool to see how they tie it all in. Plus, he's supposed to be in Morbius. He has a cameo as the Vulture in Morbius whenever that ends up coming out. So he'll be in a current Marvel movie and a current DC movie, which will be interesting.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's great.
Oh yeah. So with you do a lot of unboxings, like that's what you do with your channel. What is when you're looking to buy boxes, are there specific things you look for when looking at different mystery boxes to buy?
When I first started, it was pretty much like, what is everybody else buying? What is everybody else buying? What is everyone else happy with buying? You know, it was more of quantity. You know, I was buying more of the $40, $50 boxes.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of in that thing where I want to spend more on mystery boxes. I want to spend 100 plus, and I'm a sucker for a slab. If there's a slab in a mystery box and it's a guaranteed slab, that's a pretty good indication that I'm going to buy the box. I mean, if it's, obviously it's got to be from someone that, in the community that is respected and people have bought them before. There's a few that I bought, first time people that I've been pretty happy with, like Fletch Comics. His first box that I bought from him was fantastic. So,
and Super Jason said, or a T-shirt.
Or a T-shirt, you're right.
Yeah, size small, right? Size. Was that box? Were you guys able to pick your sizes for that box, or no? Because I know with the next one you were able to.
Yeah, you were, and if you didn't watch anything last night with on Rob's channel, the whole thing with that Spider-Man booth. Sometimes when those promo codes come up, I don't know about you guys, when it's the 33% off, I don't pay attention. Like, I didn't pay attention to the shirt size. I didn't know they had a shirt. All I seen was 33% off. So, it goes from $250 to $167 or whatever it was. I was like, yes. And I bought it. Same with the last one. Like, I didn't read that there was going to be a bunch of Venom in it.
Right.
That was my lack of effort in reading on what I was buying. I just got the same thing like last time. 33% off, but this time I was like, oh, this time I better pick the right size shirt. And that's all I paid attention to.
Right. That was pretty funny. It reminded me of my cousin who he was notorious for wearing a size too small. And we would always make fun of him for having this, saying he's wearing his medium shirts or his crop tops because they'd be super tight. It was like he's not a big guy. But he would always just for some reason wear one size too small. So it's funny when you put it on during that live stream, and you wore it. I'm like, oh yeah, that brings me back to my cousin when he would wear his mediums. So
I've actually gone back and watched that and thought to myself, I don't look half bad in that tiny shirt.
Oh man, yeah. So that's cool. So now, what are some books you have on your pool list? I mean, this is kind of something I want to ask all the guests that are in the comics. What are you looking forward to in your pool box?
What I have right now is like I said, a lot of independents. Spawn is on my pool list. Batman's on my pool list, regardless if I'm really into Tinian's writing at the time and actually reading it. But the ones I'm reading and looking forward to are like, Department of Truth is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to get my fingers on the next issue of that. Something is Killing the Children's taking that hiatus, which is kind of but that'll be exciting when it comes back. Scumbag has been a really fun read. I can't wait to read the next issue of that. Stillwater is absolutely amazing, and if people aren't reading that book, that's a sleeper that I didn't hear about until recently, and I'm very happy that I started reading that one. So mostly a lot of independents.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. I just lost my train of thought. There was another question in there I was going to ask you to go. Oh, the Spawn. So you've heard the news, obviously, with Todd McFarlane coming out saying they're going to make a Spawn verse they're going to have the Gunslinger have his own and stuff like that. With the number of writers that are now going to be taking a shot at doing some Spawn stuff, are there any of them that really pique your interest that are now going to be giving their kind of spin on what they think Spawn is?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's going to be fun. I've got all of them. That was another one I added to my pull list. I told my LCS owner that, it'll be interesting. I'm such a fan, of McFarlane and stuff like that and the old Spawn. I just don't want anyone to ruin it. That's the one thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about, I don't want anything. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I'm a fan of Spawn the way it is, but I am gonna buy all the new ones. So I don't know how excited I am about it, but we'll see. I'm not as excited about it as a lot of other Spawn fans, but I don't want to see someone take a hero that I love and mess him up.
Right. I'm excited to see because Donnie, I think they said Donnie Cates is going to have like a 5 or 6. He's going to have a limited series going. So I'm curious to see what fun he could have with the character, because I liked what he did with the Death of the Inhumans. I really thought that little mini series was really well done. So I agree with you. I've got a lot of catching up on Spawn to do. I actually have it as one of my series to go back and try to read after I finish a couple of the older series I'm reading. So I definitely want to see how that's always going.
I just picked up the compendium of the first 50 issues. So
nice.
Go back and read those again.
Yeah, Biggie's dropping the newspaper cartoons.
Love those cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you have any other stuff in pop culture? Like, are you a fan of wrestling and stuff like that too?
Absolutely. I have a subscription to the WWE Network. I mean, I'm nerd all the way. I love AEW. I love the fact that the Big Show just came back to AEW. I love Chris Jericho. I'm a fan of older wrestling, kind of like Biggie. I like the NWO, Hulk Hogan days. My favorite wrestler probably of all time, I hate to say it because he's new, but I love Bray Wyatt. I love his Fiend persona. Other than that, Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior were like my idols as a kid.
That's cool. Yeah. I remember whenever they did the invasion with NWO and they started doing the whole crossover thing. I remember watching it because my dad and I would watch wrestling whenever it would come on, and seeing that happen, I was just like, oh no. And then we got the pay-per-view, and when Hogan betrayed him and everything and came over to NWO, was just like, no way. Broke my heart.
Yep.
Broke my heart. I was a big Hogan fan growing up.
Yeah, he was good at pretty much every role he did in wrestling. Good guy, bad guy. He was good at it all.
Yeah.
Undertaker as well, Jamie.
Oh, yeah.
Undertaker was he's an icon. Like I still get the chills when I hear the bells toll for the Undertaker's entrance.
Yeah, exactly. And then he had the what's his name? Paul Paul
Bearer.
Yeah, there you go, Paul Bearer with the urn and everything, and then the whole storyline with bringing in Kane and all that fun stuff. So
yes, sir.
Bushwhacker twins brothers, nice.
Even the cartoon. You remember the cartoon? Had like Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog were like the good guys and the Iron Sheik, right. And I forgot what it was. WWF something.
Yeah, no, that's now you got all with John Cena kind of getting out of it now because he's going into more of like the movie roles and whatnot. I haven't watched it. God, I haven't watched wrestling since my daughter was, I think, 9, and when we had gone to the Emily Arena to watch Monday Night Raw one time, and after that it was like I tried to watch it with Johnny, and he gets too excited. He tries to do elbow drops off the back of the couch on you when you're trying to watch it. It's like, yeah, no, this is a little bit too much for him.
Yeah, my neighbor had one of those giant trampolines growing up as a kid, and all us boys in the neighborhood used to practice WWF moves on each other on that trampoline on a regular basis.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we would do it. We had a swimming pool in my house growing up, and we would do like choke slams. We'd do the Razor's Edge coming off of the diving board and stuff like that. Yeah, crazy different stuff. So, but all right, man. Well, I want to say I appreciate you coming on here and taking some time out to be on the show. I know it's kind of like last minute when I'd asked you yesterday, so I do appreciate you coming in and jumping on the show and everything, and letting me ask you these questions and kind of hanging out for a little bit. So you guys got the rig show tomorrow night at 4:30 Pacific, which is 7:30 Eastern here. Is this going to be a weekly show for you guys?
Right now we got 3 shows that we've got guests or contestants for, and right now we're gonna start it off every other Sunday. Okay. If it gets real popular and people are loving it, we might go with every week. So we're gonna see where it goes and where it takes us, and I think it'll be fun. I mean, we got Adrian and Very Gary, episode 1. We got DJ Lynx and Remy Q Studio on episode 2. And then episode 3, we got Burke Family 54, Steve. He's going to go up against Kevin from Superpower Reviews. So it'll be fun.
Sweet. All right. You got anything? You have videos lined up for, do you have like a normal video schedule?
Not really. I should be on more of a schedule like DJ Lynx and like you and like everybody else, more regimented. I need to get on a schedule, so.
Well, that's great. I look forward to, as so many other people look forward to seeing the show tomorrow. Again, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. I want to say thank you, chat, for coming out and hanging out with us. We will have another Saturday sit down next week. The guest next week will be Wink Inc. Hope everyone has a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good night. We'll see you later.
Have a good night, guys.